A very warm welcome, viewers, wherever you're watching us from. This is Casa TV, and I'm your host for the Let's Chat. I'm Job Ongera. Today, I'm privileged to have on set none other than the ever long-serving police spokesperson, none other than Mr. Charles Owino. Mr. Charles Owino, welcome to this discussion.
Asante sana Bwana Ongera.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Without much ado, ladies and gentlemen, we want to ask him a very direct question. Since 2009, when the then Judge Philip Rensley gave some recommendations about the police reforms, how far are we in terms of police welfare?
First of all, I would want to give you a brief history.
Yes.
That may deviate you.
Right.
Most of those recommendations Rensley made were not recommendations out of nowhere. They were recommendations given by us. In the year 2004, the Kenya Police had a strategic plan which was running from 2004 to 2008. In the strategic plan, we wanted to have one national police service. We wanted to have an inspector general to be in charge of the police service, so that we would have administration police and Kenya Police as one, so that we just have one police service. That was in our strategic plan 2004-2008. I'll give you a copy.
Yes.
We also wanted to have a police service commission, because the reason why we wanted to have the police service commission was because police is a unique institution. The risk that a police constable faces, a police constable working in Kayole faces, is not similar to the risk that a clerk, a civilian clerk working in the office of DC Kayole faces.
All right.
These people face different
challenges
and different risks. Mm-hmm. And therefore, and also the mode of work, of operation of police. For example, we work everywhere. Teachers, yes, work everywhere, but you'll find most teachers working in their villages and settled at home. He can construct his house slowly, live in his home, settle his family. Policemen keep on moving from one part of the country to the other. Actually, we're not required to be in one place for more than 3 years. So, police is a unique institution. So we wanted to have a police service commission, which was going to be separate from the Public Service Commission, because we had unique requirements. You remember recently when there was an award for house allowance.
Yes. The
government recommended that the minimum constables be paid in house allowance was 18,000. But because their salaries are low, Salaries and Remuneration Commission said no. The regulation is you cannot pay a civil servant more than 50% of his salary. You see. Yes. But those are some of the challenges. That is why we wanted the Police Service Commission, which could address these challenges which are unique. Because you cannot say a clerk in the DC's office has the same job group as a constable in Kayole police station, and therefore they would face similar situations. The police constable in Kayole faces a lot of challenge.
So are you saying that so far so good?
No, so I'm saying, I'm just giving you a brief history,
yes,
so that you don't think Rensley is the one who brought these things.
All right.
These are things which we planned in 2004, 2008.
Yes.
So we wanted one police service, we wanted one inspector general, we wanted a position of inspector general, we wanted a police service commission,
yes,
and we wanted a civilian oversight authority. In our 2004, 2008 strategic plan.
That's IPOA.
The reason why we wanted a civilian oversight authority was because always we had a complaint mechanism within the system. And the civilians would always ask, how would policemen address complaints against themselves? You know, we are a disciplined service, we can still do it. Even military is doing theirs. I don't think there's anybody oversighting military. You know, they even have a tribune, they even have a, how do you call it? Their court system.
Yes.
Yes. And as the civilians are complaining, how do you handle complaints against police? So we said, no, let's have a civilian oversight that will oversight on the complaints against police. Now, 2007, 2008 post-election violence came in as a blessing in disguise to us, because it accelerated the reform process.
Yes.
And Waki Commission came, they recommended that there should be reform in police, and then the Kriegler Commission came, and we did a presentation. So much of those things you see in the Kriegler Commission did not come from nowhere, it came from us.
All right.
Yes. So since then, we have managed, after the promulgation of the Constitution, to have the Office of the Inspector General uniting the Kenya Police and Administration Police. Though we did not achieve 100% as we wanted to have one service, we still ended up with Administration Police Service, Kenya Police Service, and an Inspector General. But the biggest milestone in that is that came last year, towards the exit of the second Inspector General, Mr. Boynet, when his term was coming to an end. They had come up with a reform process which saw the General Duty Administration Police, only Administration Police that you used to find at an AP camp, was disbanded. So the General Duty Police was all transferred to Kenya Police. So those AP camps, we have transformed them either to police stations or to police posts or patrol bases. And all the 24,000 APs who are performing general duty have been transferred to Kenya Police. Now we have a situation where if Ongera has a difference with his wife in Nyansiongo, Ongera's wife before would go to Nyansiongo AP to report assault, and Ongera would go to Nyansiongo police post to report assault. That one is now not there, because all general duty police officers are in one police station. That's a great achievement that we have gotten. Administration Police has now become a specialized unit with 5 formations. They are undertaking specialized duties, starting with border patrol. They are the ones managing our borders.
Yes.
Because the Kenya-Somali border has become of a war zone. It requires highly trained, highly specialized officers. It could now not be left for officers manning a police station, listening to assault cases, cattle theft, small things, chicken theft. No. It's now a specialized area, so the Administration Police has undertaken Border Patrol Unit. That is one formation. We also have the SGB, Security of Government Buildings. They are undertaking issue of security of government buildings. They have what we call SIPU, critical infrastructure, like Kenya Power, the base stations. You've seen those, our stations, our stations in Gong Hill. You find it is now Administration Police that is managing that. And then the anti-stock theft unit, which was run by Kenya Police, has now been taken to Administration Police.
Well said,
so this has made Administration Police now to be a specialized unit and Kenya Police to be a specialized unit. So I can say, so far as that is done,
yes,
that has been achieved, and we are proud of that, and we can see a lot of reform process. But what I want to warn you, in good language, not warning you to threaten you, is that reform is not like instant coffee that you put in water and you take it.
It's gradual.
Even 100 years to come, we will still be talking about reform issues. America got independence many years back, but you can still see them struggling with some reform issues, because look, you've seen the way civil society is coming out very strong about issues of human rights. But we must remember that as much as we fight for issues and liberalization, we must remember, why do we have police?
I think police are there to maintain law and order.
There is history why we have police, mankind history. That long before, man lived in just like in a state of nature, just like wild animals, which you see in the park, where if we disagree with Ongera, we fight until, so might was the position. The solution was might. The way you see Simba inafuata swara mpaka inakula. That is how human beings also lived. But then later, human beings decided to surrender their privileges and powers to the state, so that it is the state that manages. If Ongera and Owino has a problem, Ongera reports to the state. And the state,
the arbiter.
Yeah, the state where you are reporting to is police. Because the state, look, it's good to go slowly so that you teach the public. That if you look at the Treaty of Westphalia, 1684, the Treaty of Westphalia, what happened was that it formed the major 3 arms of government. That is where we established the 3 major government: the judiciary, the legislature, and the executive. to balance and control. Now, we fall under the executive, the police.
Yes.
And we support the executive in maintenance of law and order.
And that's where now the problem comes.
Yes.
That if you support the executive,
the issue is not the issue.
Orders that are given are the ones that now you see very many institutions coming,
excuse
crying
me.
for like the,
I want
the human rights activists.
I want you to understand one thing.
Yes.
There's a government we'll call this a dictator government. This is democratic. Are you getting me?
Yes.
This is dictatorship. This is democratic. These things depend with the society and the leaders.
No.
You know, at the end of the day, you cannot complain about an individual that you have elected.
Let me ask Mr. Charles Owino.
You have power.
We have lived in this country for long.
No. You have power. And let me tell you,
yes,
if you weaken the police powers today, the person who will suffer most is you. Because criminals will cut you with a panga. They'll take your whatever little that you're carrying. You saw just the other day in Kilimani, where two criminals come in a motorbike. They harass an individual walking, taking his laptop and his phones and running away. You want us to have that kind of a country?
That's not the kind of the country that we want. But then, because you've served this government and mostly in this rank for quite some time.
Yes.
And you seem to understand more about how it works, because several IGs have come and have gone.
Yes.
Now, there is this what we call giving orders. You've even had some politicians using police officers to score their own personal scores.
I want to answer you.
Yes.
Unlike army officers, police officers find themselves in situations where they have to act on their own without referring to their books or their superiors. That if I'm in River Road and criminals come and they are heavily armed, I have no time to refer to my books and ask, what are the justifiable circumstances of using my firearm? I should know it inherently. I have no time to call my boss, Mr. Mtiambai, and ask him, Afande, can I shoot? Can I hit the head or the leg? No. A police officer finds himself in situations where he acts on his own without referring to his boss or his books. And police officers take individual responsibility. So there is no police officer. I don't think whether you have had...
Let me ask you.
Excuse me. You've never had a police officer like what I saw the other week, a CEO or an MD saying that he was called by his boss. No,
but it is in the public domain.
No, excuse me.
As we have been sent, we have instructions from above to disrupt this meeting or to arrest some individuals.
Ongera, I want you to tell me where you have been told that by an officer. Ongera, if your boss gives you an unlawful instruction in police, the way we are trained,
yes,
you don't say no, but you don't do it. You know, you don't tell, in a discipline service, you don't tell your boss no. But if he tells you to do a wrong thing, you go around it and do it in the right way. If you do it in the wrong way, you take responsibility as an individual. You must be intelligent. Are you getting me?
I'm getting
So
you.
there is no way somebody will wake up, I'll come here and tell you I was given instruction. No. Even if I'm given instruction, I'll only take instruction which is lawful. And I'll know what exactly my boss wants me to do, and I'll make sure I do it. He may tell me in a way that I think is unlawful.
You're
but
right.
I'll still do the assignment in a lawful way. When I come back, my boss will be happy. He will tell me, congratulations, you've done a good thing.
No, sometimes politicians blow this thing out of context. You find that mostly, like now we are in a global pandemic, the COVID-19, which we are going to address, and then you tell us how your police officers are well protected from those ones who are going to arrest and the facilities
No,
they are
just
taking.
ask me your question.
Yeah, my question is, people have now started taking political temperatures up. And it means like some politicians say that they are being targeted. They're always arrested on Fridays and maybe taken to court somewhere Monday or Tuesday. What is the top police officers like yourself
give me one
doing?
No, give me the latest case where a politician was arrested on a Friday and taken to court on Monday or on Tuesday and he was not released on bail. Give me one. I don't want you just to speak on imaginations. Give me one latest case where a politician was arrested on a Friday and left in custody until Monday or Tuesday. Give me one case.
Not unless we are not reading from the same script.
I'm saying
it's been happening all over.
Name Just one. You know, I'm challenging you. Name one case.
Governor Obado, when was he arrested?
Governor Obado, his case was not a petty crime. Governor Obado's case is a case of, is an economic crime and a serious case of corruption. Are you getting me? He was arrested, yes. He was processed, and he was taken to court.
Why aren't these arrests done on Mondays, Tuesdays?
It depends. When did the DPP sign his order? Do we control DPP? We, the police, because you are blaming us. Will we control? Will we tell DPP to release his orders? If the DPP released his orders on Monday, and we arrested the governor on a Friday, then, and even Governor Obado's case, I don't know whether it was on a Friday. I think it must have been earlier than even a Friday. He could have been arrested.
No, they spent the
they could have spent the weekend,
yes.
But I suppose he was arrested even before Friday.
No.
Because he was arrested, he was taken to court. It is the court who gave us orders, because we never took Governor Obado to court on a Saturday.
No.
Just a minute. And Governor Obado was arrested. The following day he was taken to court. And the court is the one which gave those instructions to prepare for, as he was preparing for bail. But equally, we don't ask if the DPP today signs an order of such a case of high magnitude on a Friday, we must arrest you on a Friday. If he signs it on Thursday, we'll arrest you on Thursday or the following day. If he signs it on Monday, we will not wait for Friday. So you are not supposed to take a coincidence and relate it to us. It is not in our control, and when we take you to court and court remands you, it is not again in our control.
I know you.
So please don't blame the police. We are doing a perfect job. We are highly professional.
Before then, Bwana Charles Owino,
yes.
You're in the public domain in protecting the interests of the police officers. And you're doing it very due diligently and very perfectly. But there's one problem here. On the ground, things are very different.
Let me tell
People
you,
have been arrested on petty crimes on a Friday. And because...
Let me explain to you. You may not know. Because
yes.
you're not a policeman. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yes.
Eh?
What happens?
People go back home very early because they know tomorrow they are going to work. On Fridays, people want to enjoy. They know they are not working on Saturday. And they are disturbing. That is why you see on Friday, we arrest many people. Because like now, we have issue of COVID-19. And you know issues of social distancing. You know the bars are closed. And many people are going to hide themselves in apartments. Many people are going to... And that is why we are arresting more people on Friday. And even before COVID-19,
yeah,
many people want to enjoy on Friday because they know... So what we are trying to do...
Well said. But petty crimes like contravening, now you've mentioned about COVID-19. Contravening the curfew time.
Excuse me.
Yeah?
Contravening curfew time is not a petty case because we are trying to save you from COVID-19. And we are not saving you from COVID-19 because of anything else. You are our human resource in this country. You work, you give us revenue. Are you getting me?
Yes.
In terms of taxation.
Yes.
Ongera, if you die today of COVID-19, you leave for us orphans here. The government will suffer. We must save you.
Now,
otherwise, we must save the country. And for that reason, Ongera, you are not going to tell me you are not going to contravene and then call it petty. No, it is not petty.
Bwana Charles, well said.
Yes.
Mentioning of COVID-19 and you protecting us.
Yes.
How best have you protected your police officers who goes to arrest these people? And two, the facilities that they tend to take this, the so-called the police cells.
You have asked me a very good question.
Yeah, the police cells. Just a minute. The police cells. They are made. There were those facilities which are sometimes not fumigated, and if they are not. They don't have good ventilation.
Let me explain to you.
Yes.
Because you're not a policeman.
Yes.
First of all, the IG has done what we call SOPs, Standard Operating Procedures, for police officers' response during COVID-19.
Yes.
This is the book. This is guiding officers on how to manage themselves during COVID-19. Number two, we have been highly supported by corporate bodies in terms of giving us sanitizers, giving us the barakoas, and a number of corporate institutions have highly supported us. And we have even water tanks, even washing basins. A number of them have contributed to the police. And I think Kenyans love their police because they know that it is the institution that protects them. And you must understand, I've always told people that the fact that you are a bishop does not mean you can give birth to bring forth a criminal. Your son can be a criminal and you are a bishop. So you don't expect us police to be so pure that we do not have officers who are rogue. They'll always be there.
Yeah.
They are still there in America. Are you getting me? Even in UK, first world countries, they'll always be there. Even in your own family, you will find one of your brothers is erratic. Kazi yake kunywa pombe na kupiga bibi. Huwezi sema huyu hajatoka kwa familia ya Ongera.
Before we go
so
to
what I'm saying is,
yes,
we have well taken care of officers. We are trying our level best. It's a challenge, but we are trying our level best. The issues of cells are built on a standard system, because these cells carry everyone. These cells accommodate even criminals who have committed serious offenses, murderers, and so on. So there is no cell for petty offenders. There is no cell for criminals. The cells are the same, and the standards are the same. For now, we carry out a lot of fumigation in our cells, but we also try to limit the number of persons in custody. We almost try to give almost everyone bond. The only problem that we face is that sometimes we were taking people to court and prison was not accommodating them, so we had to take them back to custody. And that's a challenge. It's a challenge for the country, it's not a challenge for police.
Thank you very much. Viewers, that is Mr. Charles Owino, the police spokesperson, who is putting his as it is to us so that we can understand the relationship between the police officers and the civilians. We're going for a short commercial break, but don't think of going far, because when we're coming back, we want to ask him to tell us, when will Kenya police reach a state of maybe Finland, Sweden, and even Ghana, an African nation, where somebody is late from work and they can walk into the police station and ask to be escorted home without being blackmailed or intimidated. Don't go far, we're coming back. Thank you very much, viewers, wherever you're watching us from. This is Casa TV, and we have a program, Let's Chat. Today, as I earlier said, we are humbled to have the longest-serving police spokesperson, none other than Charles Owino, and is putting it into perspective, demystifying and decanting every other interest you believe you want to know about the police officer's relationship to the public. And before we had gone to our break, we had asked him a question. Does he believe that it reached a point where police officers, somebody has walked into the police station, it's late hours or wee hours of the night, and he is given that escort to his or her place? One Charles.
Yes, I've done that before. I've been an OCS and I've done that before perfectly well. You can ask the people I served in Karisho as a station commander. But every individual has his own way of doing things. I think there are many people that get a lot of support from police. But there are a few people who also fall into trouble with police. I remember you had asked me if we can we can reach the level of Sweden and
Finland, Ghana.
Yes,
yeah.
But it starts with you.
All right.
Yeah, the discipline of a society is very important because you obey the law. We have seen in Kenya a lot of impunity. It starts with the public. When the public has a lot of impunity, you don't expect them to have a better police service. The police may try their level best, but the policemen are few. A population of over 40 million and a population of 100,000 people, and everybody is practicing impunity. How do you expect it to work? It becomes a big problem. So
yes,
it must start with us as a society. We must be disciplined. If we are told there is curfew, obey and go home early. Avoid conflict with police. Then a few people who may be caught up in the process should be able to be supported, because there are several reasons. Your child can be sick and you must go to hospital. Yourself, you can be sick. And if you are genuine, not people who are not genuine and trying to portray that they have a problem and then bringing up issues, then I think we're not going to have a problem. We will reach
another question on the same level that you've mentioned about that discipline and the behavior begins with an individual.
Yes.
We have suggestion boxes in different police stations, police division headquarters, and we've come to ask ourselves, sometimes, what merits do you use or parameters do you use to upgrade your police officers from one cadre to the other. Like for instance, there is one of your police officers. I think I walked into his office and they didn't know me. The way he when I said I wanted to say him, I can just mention his name if you can allow me to. No. Yes. Then he handled me very well, and he's an OSPD. Yes. He handled me very well. Then I felt like, how do people read those? How do you bring them the ranks?
The question is, today I have over 20 officers in my office.
Yes.
There is that officer, you would call him at a very odd hour and tell him, I want you in office. He will tell, he's always ready to come. He'll tell you, yes, sir, I'm on my way.
Yes.
He comes on time. There's one you would give work, and tomorrow when you wake up, you find the work is done.
Yes.
So I know them. I know which one, if genuinely I'm promoting people, I know which one to promote and which one not to promote.
All right.
There's one that you will never find him. Even if you look for him, never, and always will have an excuse of not doing work. Either he's sick or something, or has a problem. Yes. Always a cheeky person.
Yes.
Now, if you promote such like a person, you are promoting him at your own peril. You expect him still to continue carry on with that behavior. So it's easy to tell who amongst your officers is able to go up. A few bad ones may find their way through for one reason or another, but majority are always good, the ones that get promoted.
All right.
Yes.
Well said. The last question before we go to another short commercial break. We have people who've been held in police custodies illegally. They have not committed an offense. Even if you listen to them, you find
that is why we have the Internal Affairs Unit, and that is why we have the Civilian Oversight Authority, IPOA. Report cases, and they'll help you. IPOA has done a good work. Yeah, Internal Affairs is doing a good work. So the most important thing is mistakes will always be there, and that is why we have oversight. If we were perfect, we would not have had Internal Affairs Unit. We would not have IPOA. We would not have had IPOA. We are not perfect. We make mistakes, and that is why they are there. So when there are people held illegally, report to the concerned institution. The officers, particular officers, will be dealt with, and it will be a lesson to others.
On the same question that people are held up illegally in the police station, and the longest time possible, more than 48 hours, how do you address that to your juniors?
No, they have instructions. They know very clearly. One, we don't hold people in custody for more than 24 hours. Unless we have been authorized by court. If you want to hold somebody for more than 24 hours, you inform court, and court gives you authority as to why you want to hold him. Or unless you arrest him at an hour that he may not be able, there will be no sitting court for more than 24 hours. Then in that circumstance, then you will have to keep the person in custody if he cannot raise bail, or if the offense is an offense that is not bailable by police. For example, murder.
Yes.
Yeah, robbery with violence, capital offenses, they're not bailable. So those ones, you have to wait. If you are arrested on an hour where there will be no sitting court in the next 24 hours, then you don't go. And that is the standard procedure, and we don't allow. Even if you go to Central, I want you to take a walk to Central Police Station. I check those cells. I can take a walk with you now, and you'll find there's nobody in the cells.
Lastly,
yes,
the issue of the OB. Yes. Somebody has been messed somewhere. The police officer who is maybe on that occurrence book has written a statement against that person.
No, we don't put statements in OBs. We write reports.
Yes. Yes. Now in that report of the OB, is the police officer supposed to script or anything, or change the
No, you cannot change what has been written in the OB.
Because
you can make an amendment.
Yes.
And the amendment would mean you go to another space in the occurrence book, the next space, and write what you are amending.
What if it's an individual who's been messed by a police officer? Like, for instance, I witnessed a case where a certain...
I've told you clearly, we have institutions that deal with complaints.
All right.
Report those complaints to those institutions. If they don't, come back to us if they don't act.
That's very well.
That would not be a good question for now.
All right.
Yeah.
Much obliged. Now I want you to look at that camera and address the Kenyans in rating your police officers so far so good since you've been here.
It's okay. First of all, it is important that we all understand as a nation the importance of having a police service. We have a police service on behalf of ourselves as members of the public. that we have surrendered our powers or individual powers to the state. That if I'm assaulted by an individual, then I will not also go end up assaulting the same person. I'll end up reporting the person to the police, and the police will carry out their investigations and take appropriate action. When you are sleeping at night, naturally you would have a person who is patrolling within your area that is responsible for protecting you, for protecting your property. So police officers are officers of the law. Their duty is to enforce all laws and regulations. But your security begins with you. You cannot afford to get drunk late at night, walk in a dark place, so long distance to your house. You may be unfortunate to meet a few criminals who may end up harming you. It is therefore important that your first security begins with you. You protect yourself. Even when you have your farm, if you can afford, fence it so that you stop other people's animals crossing and grazing into your farm and bringing conflict. These are basic things. You have your home, fence it. Have a gate. If you can afford, support us, have a CCTV. You know very well that bank robberies came down quite a lot because of the CCTVs. Because you will steal, but you will be captured and you will be followed. So security begins with you, and support us so that we can support you. A community with impunity cannot do well in the long run, because they will definitely also be run by police officers who equally have the same impunity, because police officers don't come from anywhere. The police officers come from our families, come from our society. And the social upbringing of a person cannot just change drastically. If you're brought up poorly, then definitely you will not be able to do your work rightfully. So support the police, develop your social status. Security begins with you. Protect yourself so that we can be able to support you. I believe if I rate our service, we have done so well, save for a few cases where a few individual police officers make mistakes. And when they make mistakes, our responsibility simply is to ensure that action is taken against them. But we have tried to strive to train them to the best level of excellence in order for them to serve the public. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was my time with the police spokesperson, Mr. Charles Owino, who has really helped us help how we need to conduct ourselves, even if we just as civilians. From us, we don't have much, only to request you to continue viewing our programs, and in any case of queries, questions or suggestions, you can always get us through 0770-327-379. I repeat, 0770-327-379, or you can always visit our Facebook page, that is Kasa TV, and you continue watching other programs from our YouTube channel, that is Kasa TV. I was your host for Let's Chat. I'm Job Ongera.